Previously on the Infinite Escape Room.
I'm able to reach out and grab a spade
before turning into eider ducks.
Put the code in.
Good idea, Jamie. You're such a good puzzle solver.
You can't just materialize cheese. Hello and welcome to the Infinite Escape Room, the puzzling podcast where a bunch of geographically diverse chums come together, have a drink, and work together to solve a homemade escape room. I'm Ben Levy-Griffiths, and this week I am drinking an Old Peculiar. And joining me this week we have...
Lee Russ, and I'm drinking a pint of the finest tap.
I'm Adam, and I am drinking a Kettlesmith Skyline Saison.
Ooh. How is it?
It is delicious.
And I'm Mike, and I'm drinking a Tropical Ferret. It's my last bottle of Badger's really lovely passion fruit and mango ale. Yum, yum, yum.
Ooh, that sounds good.
What's it called again?
Tropical Ferret. It's like Thirsty Ferret, but more tropical.
I see. Yes, I was confused because I knew of Thirsty Ferret, and to be honest, I thought you'd maybe had a few too many already. And
Ben, me, I'm a paragon of virtue. Thank you very much.
So listeners will have noticed that we've got two new voices on today, Adam and Lee, from the Average Gamers. Guys, what's your Average Gamers podcast about?
Go on, Adam. Give us the mission statement.
Oh, goodness me, Lee. So, Lee and I have been running the Average Gamers podcast for a good couple of years now. We cover lots of board games, card games, and anything tabletop, really. We started playing many, many years ago, decades ago, as it were, for some of us.
For both of us, surely.
We've... Well, yeah, okay, fine, for both of us. You're older than me, though, aren't you? So you're like a granddad.
That's the second time you said that.
Yeah, I know. It's like
I just like to kind of like... It's all right. So yeah, we cover a very diverse range of topics and games and kind of coverage, anything kind of board, card, game related, what we're playing on a monthly basis, what we've been up to, news, and just generally just good old-fashioned board game banter, really. When we're not playing, we're just talking about playing. Which is good, right?
So, hopefully without spoiling your latest episode, what have you been playing recently?
So the last one we recorded, which just went up, was about a tabletop game called Mice and Mystics. You play as these little you're humans that have been transformed into mice by a magical...
Spoiler alert.
No, it's in the first thing, isn't it? A witch has transformed you into a tiny little mouse, and so you're kind of fighting your way out and trying to return to human form.
Okay, so if you guys had to pick one game from your current collections each,
gosh, I hate these questions.
Take to a family gathering, what would it be?
Oh, that's a bit easier actually. Adam, do you want to take this one, or shall I go? I've got several.
You can go firstly. If you've already got one, go for it.
I think I would take Junk Art because it's not a traditional board game. It's a dexterity game. It's like, stack these odd-shaped pieces up high, so you don't have to explain many rules to people. Because, if you go to family, they're like, oh, board games are like Monopoly. Oh, boring. It's like, no, but here you go. This will keep you entertained, and I don't have to spend hours re-explaining rules to you. So that'd be my Junk Art.
Junk Art makes a note.
Yeah, so I would probably pick Mysterium. Don't know if you've heard of it. It's a bit like Reverse Cluedo. So who did it? What room do they kill someone in? With what weapon? One of you plays as the ghost. It's an asymmetrical game. One of you plays as a ghost. They got to keep quiet, and they give you these art cards that kind of tell you or lead you to, as the kind of mediums, figuring out kind of who it was based on the artwork of their cards and things like that. So really interesting game. Everyone gets it. It's quite simple, but like everyone really enjoys playing it, and had a lot of laughs. It's kind of a everyone wins or everyone loses kind of thing. So you're all really in it to make sure you win. Which is always great for family games. Everyone's got this opinion of the board games are just Monopoly, especially when it's
toxic, isn't
family, right? It's like 2 hours playing a game of Monopoly where I'm losing and buying properties. It's just not like that these days. There's so many different board games out there, and there's ones that are just so casual and nice to play. It just gives you something to talk about around a table with a few beers, which is what we do the majority of the time.
Hey.
Make us sound alcoholic.
Well,
I mean, it's been said before on the show, but we literally conceived this podcast at a beer festival and tried to bring beer on every single episode. So, you're in good company.
oh, fantastic.
I feel bad for drinking water now.
Oh, when you were on tap, I figured you were. I don't know why I thought you had like a beer tap with you. I was like,
I wish.
Cool.
If I did, I'd be twice the size I am now. So, hence the water.
Our friend Bailey calls it council pop, and that's always made me smile.
That's a good one.
Desert island.
Yeah.
You've obviously washed up with a fresh set of pants and some clothes. Well, actually, just fresh pants because it's nice and warm, and some food, and one board game. You're stuck there with this one board game for a month.
Oh, only
it's
a
just
month.
the two
That's
of
not
you.
so bad. Oh, between the two of us. Oh, wow. Okay.
Board game you've got to play together for a month.
See, I was thinking
Are they
along the lines of what board game has so many pieces I could construct a shelter from all of the components.
I mean, quite
On
on
this desert island.
definitely. You could build a raft out of the tokens.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's only two of us on the island, that changes things, because if there's any game, it would be Twilight Imperium for me. But I'm not going to play that. That doesn't play well 2 players. So,
But we could make it last a month. Or build a
could
shelter
make it
out of
last
the
a month.
pieces, because there's a lot of pieces in that game as well.
yeah,
Ooh, dual use. That's a really good question.
that's fine. Twilight Imperium then.
Maybe Treasure Island, because you could play that, I've hidden the treasure somewhere on this map that might also be on this island.
Yeah, you could hide your pants and your food around the island. Like, make it a bit AR.
That might get a little awkward.
Spare pants.
Oh goodness!
Oh, the spell.
Nobody needs to see that.
It's not a big island. By the end of the month, you'll have seen everything.
I remember, our mutual friend Tom, I remember him coming over to our house, and he was the one that showed me that board games were no longer just Monopoly, and also that you can play against the board game, and the board game can play with you. For something that wasn't like electronic, it was just like, bits of cardboard and plastic. That sort of blew my mind, but it's awesome. And I forget. I think it was called something like Dead of Winter, something like whatever it was that he brought. Took like 3 hours to set up. I think, and it was brand new, so all the pieces need to be put together for the first time.
Oh goodness!
Best bit.
And so rookie mistake, though, turning up with a brand new.
That's Tom, though, right? That's Tom through and through.
I know.
So I was quite excited, and my wife Faye was less excited because she tends not to like board games. And Tom was just extremely excited. And after about quarter of an hour, Faye was no longer interested. And after 3 hours, I was barely interested. But it was a lot of fun, and we've played it several times since. It's taken a lot less time to set up. But so there's been a few times when I've been like, "Oh, I wouldn't mind trying to get into playing board games," but either there's no one else that's like at my level, or you're going to be jumping in to a group that like probably know each other very well, know how each other plays, and also know the games really well. So do you have any advice for somebody sort of like me wanting to get into this stuff and not wanting to sit round after round of being really, really bad?
Well, you've got a couple of options, I guess, haven't you? You know people that play locally is maybe, or the next time Tom visits or something, get him to bring a game and teach you, or the next time you're in the area, come and visit all of us, and we'll put on a game for you, and we'll make sure it's inclusive and not like oh yeah, let's all club the baby seal that's never played before, let's beat the new guy. We're the kind of group we game with are not like that, thankfully, and I would like to think that a lot of board game groups are like that. It's harder to go into an existing group for sure. So yes. The other option is take some friends to a board game cafe and find a more not beginner game. I hate to use that word, but a game that's kind of a bit more accessible and will ease you in a bit better. Something cooperative maybe, so that you're working together.
Gateway drugs.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
That's a really good shout. Like if you went to a board game cafe as well, a lot of the people that work there have a lot of experience with games, and they can recommend what would suit your group, your play style, and they can help you play through the first couple of turns if you need their assistance, just to get up and going. Because I think that's a lot of the challenge with these games. That once you get the kind of like the structure of the rounds, you can start to move through it. But having someone walk you through and just guide you through those kind of first steps, those first turns, really useful. And not to mention, board games are very expensive these days. You're talking £40-50 for a fairly chunky board game. Board games cafes give you a way to trial something, see if you like it, and then you can invest. I definitely second the board game cafe route.
Do you have any more questions, Mike?
No, I was going to say, these chaps clearly know their stuff about board games. Where can people find you on the internet?
I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say that we know a lot, but we try.
Everything. They know everything. Advertising you as knowing literally everything there is to know about board games.
I guess the best place to find us would be at www.average-gamers.co.uk. And from there, that'll take you to our SoundCloud page. And we've got all our social links on there, I believe. Alternatively, there is Linktree, linktr.ee/average-gamers. And we've got all our social links and other listening platform links there.
And all of those links will be in the episode description. And how often do you guys put out an episode?
I'd like to say regularly once a month, but it's not like that, is it, Adam? Let's be honest. Trying to get everyone together.
Well, we say that, but we've just revisited our schedule, and we do have one every month for at least the next 6 months until the baby drops in January, and hopefully I'll still get another one in every month.
Don't drop the baby.
Don't drop the baby.
Like Dad 101.
Or if you do on a really high shag carpet.
That's how we... No, hang on, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to be crude. It's a very refined gentleman.
Thanks, Mike. I was thinking the same, but it's fine.
Before we begin, I'd like to thank our Patreons for their continued support, and I'd like to give a special shout out to two of our supporters, Lily and Colin Walker. Thanks very much to the both of you for helping keep the show on the metaphoric road. Right then, just what is the Infinite Escape Room? Well, it's like any other escape room you may be familiar with, but this one reaches across all known themes, retail parks, and dimensions. And because it's infinite, there is no end. Every room in the Infinite Escape Room links into the next in one big never-ending escape experience adventure. Each week, one of us will present a part of the Infinite Escape Room, while the others try and solve it. If you don't escape within 30 minutes, then terrible things shall befall us, and if you break anything, you will lose your deposit. Michael, you are puzzling us this week. Do you have deposits for us?
Oh, yes. Okay. If you break anything, then... there we go. You'll lose one custom die from every single board game you own. Everything else is quite easy to replace, but for some reason, custom die. You can never replace the buggers.
That's horrific. Such a punishment.
That is awful. You're terrible.
Cruel man.
That's me. Oh, meanie beanie.
Some might say diabolical.
Oh! Was he like this at school as well?
Oh yeah, he's not changed.
Not Lord Almighty! I don't know how you made it to adulthood, Ben, without somebody doing you in for one of those ones.
If we break anything, we'll lose our deposit, which this week is the custom die from every game. Okay, then, are we ready?
Yep, good to go.
Yes, we are.
Then let's enter the Infinite Escape Room.
Last time on the Infinite Escape Room, you traversed the lands of the Red Herring Apocalypse, encountered eider ducks, and ascended a mountain of ever-falling dogs to their source, a portal. You were sucked through with little more than your crampons and a farrow and ball colour chart to find yourselves in green. Not something green or somewhere green, but the colour green itself. Everything around you is green. What would you like to do?
Do we actually have those items on us?
You do indeed.
The farrow and ball colour chart.
Well, I think the first thing to do is to find out which colour green.
What shade? Yeah.
We are. Yeah. So, can we reference the farrow and ball colour chart, please?
You certainly can.
We are seeing.
If you look in the text channel for live recording, you'll see there's a spoiler button that you can click, and that'll show you your farrow and ball's colour chart.
Oh, hello! Clicking this.
You notice that duck green on the chart has something stuck to it. It appears to be a small obsidian meeple.
Ooh.
Can we take the meeple?
You do. You take the meeple off of duck green and find yourselves in nowhere. You are in the void. Nothingness surrounds you.
Oh, is this?
So it's,
I was just going to say, is this? Do we think this thing is then colouring the environment? So should we put it on a different thing?
oh, that's a good
Can we
idea.
see any? I mean, if we just ended existence by picking this thing up.
Your senses are unable to process the void. It is as if you are surrounded in the thickest duvet ever made, except the duvet is made of nothing because you're in the void.
Oh no! What
You
do
have
we do?
nothing but the colour charts, the meeple, yourselves, and your crampons.
Oh, what about if we touch the meeple back to the colour chart on a colour? Can we do that?
Sure thing. What colour?
Oh yeah. Any preference, guys?
I'm going to say Dutch orange because the oran of orange is highlighted.
Oh,
Good shout.
You touch the obsidian meeple to Dutch orange, and the world around you turns orange. Not the colour orange, but as you say, the essence of orange itself. You smell orange and a little hint of Dutch.
ooh.
I'm guessing this will be in the show notes for everyone, but just to explain to the listeners, we've got a chart with 2 columns and 3 rows. The top 4 cells have round colours in with a description. We've got lake red, ultramarine blue, duck green, Dutch orange, and then the bottom left, we got and game cafe black. We also seem to have a hexadecimal number, like a little hash, and then like a B03 for lake red.
Well, I have noticed that there's the hexadecimal starts with A on ultramarine blue and then goes to B on lake red, C on Dutch orange, and D on duck green. Could we have to place the meeple down in an order?
Oh, I was trying to think if that was the right hexadecimal code or not, but it's yeah, you're right. Good
Wow.
shout.
Serial Photoshop user alert.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, could be.
What do we think? So I think I'd like to place the meeple down on ultramarine blue, please.
The world around you is very blue. Very, very blue. And a little bit ultramarine-y. Whatever an ultramarine is.
Oh.
Other than obviously a, space marine kind of
Yeah.
goody two shoes.
Quick, move the meeple.
Move it now.
Before we
Can
get-
we move the meeple to lake red, please?
You do. The world around you is red. Red as a lake if the lake was filled with red.
Ooh. Can we move the meeple to Dutch orange, please?
You move it back to Dutch orange, and you're back in vaguely Dutch orangey void.
Such a lovely colour. And to duck green, please. Move the meeple to duck green.
You are in a green void. You do get a vague sense of duck, but more green than duck.
Oh.
Okay, I'm trying to discern
And
what the
then
these
to
numbers.
Game Cafe Black, please.
As you move the meeple to the board game Black Swatch, it seems to stick and fuse, and the world around you turns dark. Your eyes adjust to this new shade of black, and you realise that you are no longer in the void, but instead in a cafe with walls painted that signature Game Cafe Black. The paint colour, the coffee machine, and the rickety tables and chairs, and the racks of shelves would indicate that this is perhaps a board game cafe, but something isn't right with it. You see no doors, and the only window appears to look out of the dog portal from a great, great height onto the tumultuous apocalyptic ruins of the earth as it slowly drowns in dogs and the rotting remains of mountain-crushing herring. The other things that aren't right are that there only appear to be 3 boxes on the shelves, and that the venue appears to be staffed by a 9-foot-tall skeleton in a black, dusty robe. He glances up from attempting to prepare a latte, where he has failed to pour a little skull pattern into the foam. Empty eye sockets regard you for a moment in ancient, uncaring disdain.
Cool.
Welcome to the Board Game Cafe at the end of the world. You can stay for 40 minutes for free, but after that, you must buy something. I must warn you, though, that...
Excuse me. A lot of meetings today. My throat's gone.
I must warn you, though, the card machine has broken, so we can only accept Quantum MasterCard and your lives.
He looks back down in disappointment at his failed latte art and, sighing, turns back to the coffee machine. He steams milk, steam rising between the knuckle bones of his fingers.
Help yourselves to the games on the shelves, and feel free to take any unoccupied tables or chairs.
Your time, gentlemen, would appear to start now.
Did anyone bring their Quantum MasterCard?
I think I left mine in my other trousers.
Ah, damn. Okay, we're going to have to do this the hard way then. Can we see what games there are? The 3 that are available?
Sure thing. So you move across to the shelves. You can see that they are dusty and bare with just a few crumbling husks of boxes, indicating that perhaps a millennia ago this was actually quite a well-stocked and much-loved collection. Only 3 boxes appear to have survived the ravages of eternity. There's a large game entitled Quacks of Quedlingberg, a small box entitled Deep Sea Adventures, and a huge box entitled Mysterium.
What was the first one again, sorry?
Quacks of Quedlinburg.
How are you spelling Quedlingberg? I don't think it's important, but...
Quedlinberg, I believe. It might be URG.
Cool. I didn't realise it was an actual game.
It's like right there.
I presumed that I could made it up.
No, it's a real game. I believe they all are, in fact. Deep Sea Adventure, I think I know that one.
Well, Mysterium definitely is, because we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Memory. Not my strong point.
Where to begin? So many good choices.
How many tables are there?
So you look and there appear to be quite a few tables and chairs. They're made out of that horrible tube aluminium stuff that scups up really nicely and makes that horrible dragging sound when you move it about, the types of chairs. They definitely look more comfortable than they will feel. One of the tables is surrounded by several piles of dusty bones that crumble literally at the weight of your gaze and appear to have the desiccated remains of a board game laid out upon it.
Can we see, is there anything discernible from those remains of the board game or not?
Sure, you take a look and it appears to be the remains of an ancient copy of Ur, the oldest playable board game in the world, which, as you may know, originated 4,500 years ago in ancient Mesopotamia. Which, fun fact, we only know about because the rules were written down in cuneiform by a Babylonian astronomer back in 177 BC. Crazy. The tiles and pieces crumble away in wisps of dust at your very breath, leaving only one thing in the middle of the table. Another obsidian meeple, this one nearly shivering with eldritch energy.
Ooh, we probably shouldn't touch that, right, guys?
Well, do we already have the one? We've already got one meeple, right?
Yeah.
Yes, your other meeple appears to have fused with the your colour swatch. What's it called? A colour Mills and Boone? Mills and Boone.
Farrow and Ball colour chart.
Farrow and Ball colour chart. Yeah, not Mills and Boone colour swatch. Sorry, that's a different thing. It's Spudge White.
Well, should we take a look at one of these board game boxes?
Yeah, let's take a look in the boxes, I think. See if there's anything inside them that might help.
You try and open them, but the boxes are inexplicably sealed shut through means invisible to you. They are hard as a rock.
That meeple that was buzzing, does that sort of change? Does the intensity change if we bring our meeple nearer to it or further away from it?
You do notice a certain crackly frostiness in the air as it approaches any of the boxes.
What about our meeple that's fused to the colour chart? Does that...
It appears to be inert. It has perhaps spunked its meep.
So I'm wondering whether we have to touch this new meeple to one of the boxes. Maybe we're going to collect some meeples and have to do something to each of the boxes or something like that.
Possibly.
That sounds like a plan, Ben.
Before we do that...
Yes.
I don't know if this is too much of a deep dive, but I think Deep Sea Adventure is the only one of those 3 that uses meeples. So I wonder if we should go for that one first, unless anyone had a different idea.
I was going to ask both of you.
Start there.
Okay.
We can start there.
Could we take the meeple to Deep Sea Adventures, please?
Certainly. You touch the meeple to the Deep Sea Adventure box, and as the 2 make contact, you find yourselves on a boat.
Uh-oh.
Bobbing out in the middle of the open ocean. Gulls screech, waves lap. It's very, very peaceful. Or at least would be more so if you weren't all in very, very tight Speedos.
Oh, hello.
Oh, nobody needs to see that.
What would you like to do?
Find some clothing?
What can we see around us?
Okay, so looking around you, I'm afraid you don't find anything more substantial than your Speedos, but you do see a series of oxygen bottles, a winch, what appears to be a printed seabed scan, of which somebody has circled an area, and a little diving bell.
Wow. I'm guessing this boat doesn't move.
It's just bobbing along.
Okay.
How you got here without some sort of outboard motor or steering mechanism, beyond me.
Magic. Okay.
Small oversight.
I mean, surely the choice here is take the oxygen, use the oxygen in the diving bell and go down and see if we can work our way out on the seabed using that map.
Can we figure out from where we are whether we're near to the bit that's circled?
So taking a look at the seabed scan, you can see somebody has, as I said, circled an area, and the message on it just reads treasure 1650. You've got no way of knowing where you are in relation to that, but I think it's a relatively safe assumption to say, yeah, pretty close / probably over the top of it.
I mean, unless anyone else would like to, I'm going to sling a O2 canister on my back and head down.
Yeah, are they like
Go
scuba
for it, Ben.
gear?
I have got fear of open water, so you are going down, my friend.
Thalassophobia.
I'm pinned to this boat.
So looking at the series of oxygen bottles, you can see actually in a rather untidy pile in the middle of the boat, and the bottles appear to be in 4 different sizes. They range from 3 units of oxygen, so bottles which contain 3 units of oxygen, bottles which contain 5 units of oxygen, 7 units of oxygen, and 8 units of oxygen.
How many of each of them do we have?
You have an unlimited amount.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Was the number on the thing, is it treasure 1650, was that?
Yes, that's what I had.
And is that all, there's no like hyphen, it doesn't look like, it looks more like a year date than a time stamp.
That's just treasure 1650.
Okay.
And I may need to pause our timer here for a second while I very quickly check some maths.
Okay.
Hello, Editing Mike here. So we took a little break here for a few minutes while I took a second look at the puzzle and basically worked out there was a horrible piece of anti-fun maths sitting smack bang in the middle of this, which would have just required lots of horrible mathsy stuff to solve, and it felt like it would be bad for the recording and terrible fun for our really lovely guests. So we took a few minutes here and I essentially amputated a large horrible bit of maths from the middle of it, because who likes horrible maths in escape rooms? Certainly not me. Whatever was I thinking putting it in there in the first place? Anyway, back now with a little retcon. Slight retcon, I got that wrong. So the printed seabed scan, of which the circled area added the message treasure 300 meters.
300 meters. That's kind of interesting.
Presumably that's depth rather than flat distance.
Yes. So we've presumably got to have enough oxygen to get us down to 300 meters.
But you said we had infinite supply of 3 unit, 5 unit. Yeah.
Well, probably not infinite, because that'll probably sink the boat, but enough to...
Enough to get there and back.
Are there any kind of markings on the winch for...
Sure. So the winch is actually fixed to the stern of the boat, and it appears to be connected to the small diving bell that bobs in the water next to you. It would, I think, happily seat 3 or 2 if one person was scared of the water. The winch also has a set of instructions next to it on a lovely little brass plaque. They read, dive and recover gas-powered treasure retrieval winch. Once activated, will drop to target depth, pause, and then wind back. Dive requires 1 unit per 30 metres. Retrieval requires 1 unit per 20 metres.
Oh no, maths.
So going down, I think we need 10 units, and going back up, I think we need 15. I think.
Sounds
So
right.
what I did there is I took the 300 meters that we've got to go down, because we presume that's down.
Yep.
And then because it's 1 unit per 30 meters going down, so I did 300 divided by 30 to get 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming up, it's 1 unit per 20 meters, so I did 300 divided by 30 and got 15.
By 20.
And because I'm crap at maths. Sorry?
By 20, you mean coming up?
Oh, yeah, sorry. 300 divided by 20 equals 13. And because I'm crap at maths, even talking maths, it seems, I had to use a calculator.
Recover. Sorry, so if you dive down to get this kind of gas-powered winch, do you also need enough oxygen to come back up?
Well, yeah, if you want to
Or is it
live.
double the amount.
I think that's certainly implied by the dive and recover element. I suppose if
Right,
you
okay.
just
Recover
if
a
you die
corpse.
down at the bottom, you're not really recovering
Just dive,
something
just
so
dive.
much as Man, I really want to just rot next to some treasure.
What a way to go. So 25 units then, yeah? In total, Ben?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So we can have, so for the first one, we can have like a 7 and a 3 because that's really nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then 15 is, 3 lots of 5. That's easy, yeah.
But I'm guessing there's going to be limited capacity in this thing to hook them up.
Well, so Mike said there was room for 3 of us, or 2 if only 2 of us wanted to go down. So, Mike, if we were to load 2 lots of 3, 2 lots of 7, and then 6 lots of 5, is there then enough room?
Probably struggle, I'm afraid. So, looking inside the diving bell, obviously you see the aforementioned, I say seats, basically a bench. And then you see a set of slots, which may well indeed fit your canisters. The first set reads dive, and the second reads retrieval. There are 2 of each slot.
So I guess 3 and 7 to go down, and then 7 and 8 to come back up.
That would do it.
And sorry, Mike, did you say that there was... So if there's enough for 2 of us to go down, is there then enough for 4 lots to go down and 4 lots to come back up again? Or is it a one-person job, this?
I think you could all fit in. It's quite companionable. I just thought I'd give you the option of maybe staying on the boat if you prefer.
Do we use more oxygen?
Yes, please. Send these 2 down.
Is it sending one using less oxygen? Is that?
It's entirely down to you.
I'm game to go down, I think.
We'll go down. We'll attempt to ring the bell so Adam can tell we're still alive.
Yeah.
I'll look after the boat.
Okay, so who's going down? Lee and Ben. Okay, so Lee and Ben. You step into the diving bell, slot the 7 and the 3 into the down, and the 7 and the 8 into the backup ports. And you hit the button, the only button. The winch goes down, and you find yourself descending into the murky depths. Through the window of your diving bell, you see yourselves blobbing through the water, past the fishies, past the, remains of the Titanic, and then eventually coming to rest at the bottom at 300 meters. Through the little reinforced window, you spy a little treasure box sitting on the seabed. A small robotic arm slowly extends from your diving bell and picks it up. After a moment, you hear an automated click, and you start to go back to the surface. After a few moments, Adam, you're very, very pleased to see everybody return. The top of the diving bell opens, and they are able to come out. The treasure box is attached to the side of the diving bell.
So very quickly, when you said diving bell, I presumed you meant a bell that rang. I had was entirely... When you were like, we get into the bell, I was like, how do we get into a bell?
I want to say it's called a diving bell.
It is a diving bell, yeah.
It probably is.
Oh,
it probably is. It's my ignorance.
I did wonder what you were ringing earlier.
Did we have enough oxygen to come back up with allowing for proper decompression at 300 meters? Because that's not good. It's not good if we didn't. We're doomed.
So I was talking about elements that I trimmed from the puzzle. there was some horrendous. Yeah, it was like I say, anti-fun math. So it just needed a little bit of the old
fair dues.
What would you like to do?
Should we inspect the treasure, boys?
Get
Absolutely.
that treasure box, Lee. Go on.
So it appears to be a rusted but sturdy metal lockbox and is sealed with a single lock that appears to need a key to open.
Anyone got any keys on them?
It's all speedos all round, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
I mean, it might be worth just having a route around.
Yeah, did we miss anything else on this boat or inside the diving bell?
No.
Okay.
Then you have a lovely route around regardless.
Feel much better.
We're not allowed to break stuff, so we can't smash the lock.
Do we still have our obsidian meeple?
Ooh. You do indeed. You're in fact still holding the game box and the meeple, which are still connected.
I'm just wondering, like, trying to touch one, or like, is it at all like key shaped? Will it fit into the lock?
Well, you take the meeple off of the game box to try and fit it in the lock, and the second that it ceases making contact with the box, you find yourselves back in the board game cafe.
What?
The large
do we
dark
have the
skeleton is trying to make a mocker. You do not have the treasure box.
Quick, put it back.
You put it back, and you are once more on the boat.
Is everything as it was?
Still on the boat?
Everything is as you left.
Right.
Oh, no one reset the board game. Thank goodness.
But
Ages to set back up.
Go on, Ben. I think
When we went back, were we still on our speedos, or were we fully clothed again?
You were fully clothed again. You were fully clothed.
Wow. I love that's where Ben went. Are we still all wearing speedos? I love it.
I thought you were on a similar wavelength to me, Ben, but you weren't. I was going to ask if one of us holds the treasure box first, and then we detach the meeple, will we bring it back through with us?
You try this, you find yourselves back in the board game cafe with Meeple sans treasure box.
So
We might have to go into another game and find the key.
yes, good shout. Okay, so let's leave the treasure box where it is then on the boat, I guess. Are we satisfied we've done everything there?
Yes, I think so.
Cool. All right,
Let's go to market. Let's go to Quacks.
Ooh.
Quacks next. The Potions Festival it is. I shall
yes.
take the meeple and place it upon the Quacks box.
You take the Meeple and you place it on the medium-sized, inverted commas, Quacks of Quedlingberg box, the box that contains the most tokens out of any box in any game ever, particularly if you throw the expansions in as well. And you find yourselves transported to a colourful tent in a bustling marketplace. You're all dressed in beautiful robes. You are all dressed in beautiful robes. You are all dressed in beautiful robes and find yourselves with incredible charms sewn into your beards. Before you is a cauldron, and to either side of you are large sacks of ingredients. A town crier outside the tent rings his bell, and the bustle outside goes quiet.
Welcome to the first day of the Festival of Quedlingberg, where the great apothecaries and quacksalvers compete to mix the finest potions for your amusement and wonder. This year's festival is sponsored by Farrow and Ball. You all have an extra secret special potion to prepare. Are you ready? Mix!
Oh, blimey. Well,
Is there any paperwork to say what we're supposed to be doing? Sort of a competition entry form or anything like that?
or an instruction manual.
You see no competition entry form or the signature Quacks of Quedlingberg instruction manual.
Okay, well, I will do what any good potion maker does, and I will reach into the sack and pull something out.
Uncharacteristically, you have not one single sack, you actually have 5 sacks. One appears to contain orange pumpkins. Another contains blue crow skulls. The next, red toadstools. The next, green garden spiders. And finally, white cherry bombs. Somebody's obviously worked out that just doing them out of a sack that you can't see into is a very inefficient way of making potions.
We should definitely avoid the cherry bombs, knowing what I know about quacks. So, is there anything else in the room other than these 5 sacks?
There's various kind of mystic ephemera, dream catchers and mood charms and stones and things, but nothing that strikes you as in any way pertinent to your current undertaking.
So, just very quickly, if we were to refer back to our colour chart, we have a red, a blue, a green, and an orange. And in theory, that bottom right cell is white. Because there's nothing there.
Ooh, very good observation.
It's slightly meta here, but the white items in quacks are bad, and you lose if you draw them or draw too many of them. So I'm wondering if we avoid them.
So, you know, before we used the A, B, C, and D for the order. Is there a quantity thing here? Because we've now got numbers left.
Good shout. Yeah, take that many of each one, perhaps, of the corresponding colour. Is that what you're thinking about?
Okay, so maybe we use the letter to denote the order and then the number to denote the quantity. So if we take whatever is A, we could try that.
Take one first.
What is A?
Because I'm just thinking if what we pull out has a number engraved on it, like it would in Quacks, the game, then we may need to add up to 21 rather than taking 21 of said item.
So A was ultramarine blue, which would be the blue crow skulls in our sacks.
Yeah.
So can we retrieve one of the blue crow skulls, please?
You do. It's a crow skull. I mean, you're no ornithologist, but if somebody told you that's a skull from a crow, you'd probably be like, fine.
Is there
and there's no number or anything on it. It's just a crow skull.
No. 2 eyes, 1 beak. Standard number of holes and pokey bits on a crow skull.
2 and 1 kind of makes 21.
There's Jesus in this toast.
Okay. Okay, do we want to take
The thing
21
is,
of
we
these?
don't know what the white is.
I think avoid it. White's bad in quacks.
Okay, let's go for it then. Do we want to add 21?
21 crow skulls.
It's going to be a
I think so.
gas potion.
It's just some sort of war crime against crows.
Okay, you throw 21 crow skulls into your cauldron, decreasing the surplus crow population in the area. I mean, I suppose they're already dead, but you are creating demand for what is fundamentally a cruel industry.
How many left? How many are left in the bag?
I'll be honest with you, mate, fucking loads. It's been a bad month to be a crow.
Because I don't think Mike will have done this, but I'm pretty sure that 2-1 in hex is 33. So that's another option later on if it doesn't work.
Okay.
You say Mike's too stupid to know hex? Because you'd be right.
I don't think you would have foisted that upon us.
This is the man who had to amputate maths earlier.
Depends how deep you've made this. Like, are these actually going to be hashtags? And if we Google them, they'll come up. There'll be like one tweet on Twitter that had that exact thing, and there's your answer.
Oh, no, done that before. Been there, done that.
Okay, so that's 21 crow skulls have gone in, right?
Indeed.
Yes.
We go for 3 red toadstools.
You throw 3 red toadstools into the cauldron, and you mix them in with a comically large wooden spoon.
What was it next? Next is C was orange.
Pumpkins.
What do we have for orange? Pumpkins. One pumpkin.
You toss in 1 pumpkin, which makes a pretty big splosh. Because pumpkins are quite big. Bigger than crow skulls.
This is one messy potion.
And green was green garden spiders.
Yeah.
Spiders.
Yeah. So we need 7 of those, please. 7 garden spiders.
You throw 7 green spiders in. As you mix the ingredients, you hear an almighty, and the entire contents of your cauldron puff up in a cloud of fart-smelling smoke. The smoke roils and reforms before taking the shape of a mighty bum dragon that then shoots out of your tent and into the crowd. You hear cries of distress as the noxious creation flumps around the place, and then cheers. You hear the town crier outside.
My goodness, we have a winner on the first day of the festival. Congratulations. Oh, somebody get the prize dice.
A single dice is thrown through your tent flap. You notice that every side appears to show a black key, and as it comes to rest, the topmost face glows for a moment, and then flashes. In a bang of electricity and frost, the dice disappears, to be replaced by an obsidian key.
Ooh. How? What could that be used for?
We may never know.
Yeah.
Tune in next week on the Infinite Escape Room. Find out. You have 16 minutes remaining.
Oh, blimey, yeah, quick.
16.
Should we head back to the boat then, boys?
Grab the key, quick.
Oh, yeah,
Take
grab the key first. Good point. Just leave before we got the item.
Adam, you grab the key.
I have actually done that before in an
thank you so
escape room.
much,
It's
Mike.
like found the thing that we needed and then left the room. Left the part of the room that we needed it in, and it's like, oh yeah, we should probably go back for that.
I guess we remove the meeple from the board game.
You remove the people from the board game, and you are back in the board game cafe. The robed skeleton figure is rather passive-aggressively mixing yogurt into some granola.
Ooh. Can I try some of the granola, please?
From death itself.
Approach, and you feel that you may well lose your life if you come too close to
I
the
will not be
proprietor of this
sampling.
establishment.
I will not
You
be
feel whatever
sampling
he is
his
selling,
granola.
you cannot afford it. The deadly granola, the final granola.
So back to Deep Sea Adventure then, guys. I think that's where the lockbox is.
Yes.
Or do we want to check out Mysterium
Yeah.
first?
I think we'll need
Kind of tempting.
I reckon whatever is in the treasure box we'll need for Mysterium. So let's
Okay.
go deep sea diving to retrieve
Okay.
said treasure box item.
You touch the obsidian meeple to the deep sea adventure. Tiny little box, beautifully fits in your pocket for taking to the pub, and find yourselves back in the boat with the treasure chest.
I shall take said key we retrieved in Quacks of Quedlingberg, and I shall insert it into the treasure box.
You do an excellent insertion, and the box pops open.
Can we just clarify to all your listeners that Adam doesn't normally talk like he's in, like, you know, Game of Thrones or something. He's channeling
Right.
something here. He's talking like your RPG character. What's going on?
All right. Well, all of these kind of podcasts just merge into one, right?
Inside the box, you find another obsidian meeple. Ooh. This one crackles and spits with even more eldritch energy than the first.
Ooh. A magic meeple. Did we grab the previous one, or did we just go near it? I can't remember if we actually picked it up off the table or not.
You did pick it up.
We did.
Yes, because we've got one that's stuck to the colour chart. And
yes,
then we've got the one that we've been touching around.
Okay.
Lads.
Okay, well, shall we head to Mysterium and see if...
Well, should we use some sort of tongs to grab this clearly highly radioactive piece of wood?
Well, we're in Speedos at the moment, so we're not going to be protected either way. So let's I'll pick it up.
Okay, Adam, you very bravely pick up the obsidian meeple and the second obsidian meeple and hardly suffer any side effects at all.
I was going to say, dislikes water is fine with something potentially radioactive.
Yeah. Ben and Lee can literally see your bones through your skin. No, you're absolutely fine.
Wonderful.
Yep, you've returned to the cafe. The large skeleton is, putting very expensive price tags on very cheap-looking muffins.
I kind of just want to touch and untouch the meeple from a board game, just so we can get more of these whatever the skeleton is doing. But I imagine we've got something like 10 minutes left. So,
11 minutes 38
seconds.
Blimey.
Okay, yeah, we better jump on into Mysterium. Can we examine the box just to see?
Sure thing. You examine the box. It's the classic game Mysterium, the worst instructions ever made for a game ever, but also some of the nicest bits and the most intimidating game set up for a new board game player, but also very accessible, lovely, friendly game. You look at it and you think, there's a good way to start an evening.
So we've got 2 magic meeples now, haven't we?
You do have 2 magic meeples.
Wow, does that mean we can access 2 universes at once?
Oh,
how's this?
My thinking was to use the standard one that we've been using to enter the new world, and then maybe we need the extra special one for something in that world,
for a boss fight or something. Yeah, good point. Okay, I like that. I'm on board.
I hope you've all been leveling up.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
Let's do this.
Let's head into Mysterium.
Okay, you touch the obsidian meeple to the box of Mysterium. And find yourselves once more transported, this time to a gloomy, spooksome mansion. You appear to be in a great hall, lit by the moonlight spilling through a stained glass window. You are dressed in stained trench coats and smell a little bit sweaty, because you are psychic investigators. And psychic investigators don't wash much. What would you like to do?
Wow.
What's the picture on the stained glass window?
Oh, stained glass. It's a very meta window. It's just infinitely recurring stained glass going.
What colours are on the stained glass?
Glass colour.
Okay, right. So it's dead end.
So what can we see?
It's a clear stained glass window.
It's a metaphorical dead end.
Is that all we can see? Just the window?
Well, looking around, you can see in the centre of the hall is a large marble table, atop which sit 6 Polaroid photographs. Next to them is an empty manila envelope, which appears to have been addressed unambiguously to the police. To your right is a wall-length bookcase, which appears to be more books than you could realistically index in the time remaining to you. And directly behind you are the hollow, spooksome eyes and wispy, transparent body of a spooky ghost. The ghost reaches a strangely jointless hand to Lee and extends a spectral digit to touch your forehead. Lee, you are briefly assaulted by the waking dream of a car with an open bonnet, and then a person cupping their hand to the side of their head, listening to something. The ghost then repeats this with Adam. Adam, you see a spooksome image. A prison guard plods along a prison wing. 2 people having enthusiastic sex, and finally, a person at the wheel of a car. The vision and ghosts fade away, but a fading pattern of frost on the floor spells the words, "Find me justice."
So, if Mysterium has taught me anything, it's that whoever passes you the card is on a completely different planet to what you're thinking, so it's going to make 0 sense. So, Somebody listening and a car with an open bonnet.
Should we have a look at the photographs?
Oh, good shout, yes.
You take a look at the photographs. There are 6 of them. 3 of them appear to be of people. 3 of them appear to be of objects. The first photograph is a man with a bristly beard and a glower. The annotation to the photograph reads, Allard Jones, engineer. The second Polaroid is a lady with a dour expression and pursed lips. The annotation reads, Elizabeth Crower, ornithologist. The third is a lady with a bouffant of hair. The annotation reads, Jemima Ryder, astrologist. And then to the photographs of objects. One is a photograph of a smoking revolver, one a photograph of an empty bottle of poison, and one a blood-stained screwdriver.
Wow. What were yours again, Adam? What did you have? Somebody driving a car and...
Someone driving a car, a prison guard, and I can't. What was the middle one again? Sorry, Mike.
So yes, yours was. I'll put your dreams in the Discord just so you have them.
The envelope. Are we allowed to look in the envelope?
Sure, it's currently empty.
All right. Okay. Right. Okay.
So
it is addressed to the police.
Yeah. Presumably, this is going meta again. But I think we have to choose 2 and put them in the envelope.
Right.
That's how we answer. Oh God.
Yeah. Is it 2 and 2 though? Is it who did it and what they did it with?
I think Jemima Ryder did it with Allard Jones.
Person cupping their hand to the side of the head, listening, and then yours has a lot of sounds in it, Adam. If you think you got 2 people having fun, and oh wow, okay, metaphors are always lost on me.
So it could be that I've got a prison guard with a person behind the wheel of a car. So that could be the man with the bristly beard.
Why?
Allard Jones, engineer. So he's in a car.
But
awfully
Lee had a dream with a car with an open bonnet.
Trying to fix it, which would.
So maybe Allard Jones is listening to the car.
Is it definitely a man listening? though? It's just a person, so it could be either gender, right?
Yeah,
True.
it's true.
We're making a lot of assumptions otherwise. If you're going to fix a car, they use a spanner.
I mean,
right?
the 2 people having enthusiastic sex has thrown me.
That's what you can think of. That's where we found your level.
If we were to look at one of the books on the shelf, what does it? What is it?
It's Pride and Prejudice with zombies.
Wonderful. Okay.
So 2 of them look miserable, and one of them is expressionless from the descriptions of the photos. I'm just looking at them now. Bristly beard and a glower, and a dour expression and pursed lips. So does that mean they have a motive? Or are they just...
You have 4 minutes remaining.
Oh, God.
Would you like a clue?
Oh, goodness.
Do we want a clue, boys?
I think with 4 minutes, that would be a yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for a clue.
With your dreams, I would say think dingbats.
Ah.
I'm glad that made sense to Lee.
Yeah, I'm actually quite good at dingbats. I've just got to make sure that I get it.
While Lee is thinking, Adam, do you have any idea what dingbats is?
Right. What's under the bonnet of a car? What powers the car?
An engine.
An engine.
And what's he trying to do? He's trying to ear it.
Listen.
Right. Okay.
Engineer. Right. Yes.
So, prison wing, sex, drive.
Screwdriver. It's got to be a blood-stained screwdriver, right?
Screw, isn't it? Yeah, that's what...
Screw and then, the wheel of a car.
That's what they call a prison guard, isn't it? A screw. Okay, there we go.
Well, I'm guessing the people having sex would be...
Also screw, yes.
Yes.
2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining.
Yeah, quick.
So
okay.
We put the screwdriver and Allard Jones
go for it, Ben.
in the envelope.
You do so. The ghost reappears as you slip the murderer and the weapon into the manila envelope and gives you an uncharacteristically enthusiastic thumbs up, rather unspookily. She then points towards the bookcase and once more touches, this time, Ben on the forehead. Ben, you see an incredibly hairy man at a clay wheel. He appears to be making a pot.
Where's that chat gone?
Okay. To clay wheel. Hairy man, clay wheel, Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Oh, can we go to the bookshelf and get Harry Potter off the bookshelf, please?
You go to the bookshelf and you find Harry Potter, the only one on the shelf, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. You take it off and it appears to be, what's this? Hollow. You give it a little shake and it opens up. Within, you find a copy of Exit the Game, the board game cafe at the end of the world. 1 minute remaining.
Grab it and remove.
Touch the obsidian meeple to that.
Yeah, all that.
Which one?
Oh, yeah, the fancy meeple.
Sparkly one. The
the
fancy
new
one. The super. Yeah. Let's do that.
You take the sparkly, fancy new obsidian meeple and you touch it to the Exit the Game. And I'm going to pause your timer now. You place the obsidian meeple on the copy of Exit the Game, board game cafe at the end of the world. And with a snap, you are transported once more and find yourselves moving fast. You appear to be zooming through a swirling void towards a rapidly approaching point of light. You hear a sound behind you and turning, you see the tall skeleton proprietor of the cafe, the barista of the game cafe at the end of the world. He is zooming not far behind you, bony hand outstretched to touch you.
You freeloaders aren't getting away without at least buying some homemade banana bread.
He threatens. The distance between his bones grows and grows as he stretches the essence of his being towards you to touch you. His hand is a foot away, then an inch, and then bang! You collide with the source of the light and pop out into the air. You tumble onto something soft. Could it possibly, after all this, be grass? No. No, it's dogs. You're back on the Earth. It's still the herring apocalypse, and the entire world now appears to be several feet deep in dogs. Looking back at where you came from, you see a portal try and close shut, but before it can, a bony arm reaches out and flails towards you. The two resist one another for a moment before, snip, the portal snaps shut out of existence, severing the bony arm at the elbow. It hits the ground, where it twitches and flails, and where it touches, a brown miasma of corruption begins to spread. First, from the dog pile, and then rapidly outwards and towards you. Each dog it touches squirms for a moment before turning into a pile of chocolate hobnobs, with a light, biscuity pop. As the field expands, you see the original hobnobs shift and shiver, shifting between a state of custard cream and Fox's chocolate selection. For a moment, you think you might even glimpse Marks and Spencer's party rings. The field continues to expand and speeds up. You start to walk away, and after a moment, you run. And congratulations, you solved my puzzle. Well done, guys.
Hooray!
53 seconds to spare.
Oh, blimey. That was a tight one.
Ooh,
That was excellent. That was brilliant.
such good fun.
That was a great one.
I'm glad we made it out, though.
Yeah, I was worried. When you said there was Exit the Game in there, I was like, oh, God, we've got to play another game yet. There's like, it's like going to just tear all the cards up quick.
It's gameception. Where does it end?
It was when you went, I'm good at dingbats. I was like, oh, thank Christ. Oh. that could have been desperately abstract and all gone horribly wrong.
It's a weird thing, because whenever I see those kind of things on, like, you see it on, like, the Big Fat Quiz of the Year and that, like, my wife will be, sometimes she'll get it straight away and sometimes she'll be like, what the hell? And it's kind of one of those, it's really hard. You've either got to be in tune with whoever wrote the thing or just, yeah, it must be a certain type of mentality that gets dingbats. I don't know.
I was going to say, isn't it a font?
That's Swindons. Yeah. Similar deal, though. I guess.
Brilliant.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess for the audience, do you want to explain what a dingbat is for those who haven't...
haven't twigged.
Okay, so a dingbat is a sort of visual representation of a word, phrase, or saying, such as, here's a picture of an engine and here's someone cupping their ear, engineer. You could have the word stand with a line under it and then the letter I under it. I understand, that kind of thing. I'm probably absolutely butchering the way to explain a dingbat, but
Is that what they had on catchphrase when they used to have? I guess that was the other way around, wasn't it? They had a picture that would denote like a word or a phrase.
Kind of, yeah. It's a simplified form of catchphrase. You don't have an animated Mr. Chips. You used to get them in there, like in the newspapers and stuff, or in like quiz books and puzzle books and things. But yeah, similar.
Yeah, and not good podcasting. So hence a dingbat of the year. I must say, you guys saw straight through to like the stab of each puzzle basically instantly as well. Like you you went, oh, this is the game on this one. This is what I need to do on this one.
It's I've actually done, I don't want to sound arrogant. I've done a fair few escape rooms in the last few years. So I quite enjoy puzzles. So yeah, I think maybe that's why. Maybe I've not that I've seen your puzzles before. You know what I mean? It's like I kind of maybe know where to look, and I knew the games that you'd mentioned, so it's like I had a bit of an inkling.
I've really enjoyed it. I think one of the challenges, especially if you go do these kind of escape rooms in person, it's quite easy to go around the room and just wreck it and find things. But actually doing a podcast version of it, you get to explore the room and you've got to really think about what you're being presented with and how you interact with those kind of objects and elements that you've kind of designed. So really enjoyed that aspect.
That was brilliant
as well. And how you've just taken like board games and made them into an escape room is amazing.
To be fair, those are three of my favourite board games. So Quacks Quedlinburg, we bust out every board game day because it's just such a lovely kind of opening game to get everybody started. Mysterium is just wonderful of an evening when you've had a couple of whiskies. Mysterium Park, actually, if you've played that, have you played Mysterium Park?
No, I've read a review of it though. It does sound really good.
It's great. They just went, what if we distill Mysterium down into something that you can set up in less than 3 days?
Here's something. You mentioned that Quacks has got all these, like, the most tokens ever seen in a board game. I'm pretty sure that Lee edged all of his tokens, which is taking a Sharpie and colouring in the edge of all of the different coloured tokens. That is true.
No way.
It is.
I mean, it does look phenomenal.
And then I also put them in. Oh God, yeah, I am. I do actually have a wife. She's not imaginary, but I did buy little. I've seen a few people on various board game websites, and they buy like these little coin capsules that coin collectors use to keep their coins pristine. And you put the tokens in that, and it stops the print wearing off them. Because
are they like little tubes or something?
No, the little. It's literally a plastic case that will fit around a coin. But you pop the token in that, and then it means they make a nice clatter. And then, because the first time we played Quacks, we went and played it in a board game cafe, and obviously that copy has had a lot of play, and everything was worn off. They'd literally written on the tokens with biro what they were because all the print had worn off. So I was like, well, I'm not buying a game and then having that happen to it. So I went and bought a load of coin capsules to protect them.
There's a game that Tom has which you're meant to like destroy it. You're meant to write on. It's every time you play it, it's different.
Pandemic Legacy, right?
Perhaps I don't know. I can't remember, but he's laminated it so that he can play it over and over again.
That's the one, right, Adam?
Yeah. So Tom's got a couple. He's got Pandemic Legacy. Season 1. He's also got Betrayal, which is House on Haunted Hill. I don't know if you played that game.
I'd love to play that so much.
Yeah. But the Legacy one's quite funny because you kind of like change the house as you go through time. Really interesting, really great playthrough.
Oh my God.
And they've just released, one of our group shared an article earlier today on, I think it's earlier this week, on Jurassic Park Legacy board game. So that sounds phenomenal. So interested to see what they do with that. I think that's Funko Games.
Yeah, I'm assuming you get up and you stamp on the board like a real dinosaur. That's my assumption. Just kick it around a bit.
Adam and Lee, is there anything that you'd like to say before we do the outro?
Any other projects you want to plug, like your RPG stuff?
Oh yeah.
You can also find us on Adam and I moonlight on another podcast called Wreckage, which it's run by a friend of ours, John. He runs a little RPG that we play as characters. You can find that at anchor.fm/Wreckage RPG. And I also appear on another podcast as well. I'm all over the shop here. I'm on one called the Geeks Journal, which is me and a bunch of my friends. We talk about movies from our kind of childhood, all kind of nostalgia kind of trip. And sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad, but it's all a good laugh.
That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, it's thegeeksjournal.podbean.com.
So thank you very much to Adam and Lee of the Average Gamers podcast for joining us this evening. And back over to you, Ben.
Thanks very much for listening. You can subscribe to us on all of your favourite apps, feeds, iTunes, and at our website, www.theinfiniteescaperoom.com. You can follow us and get in touch via Facebook and Twitter at @tier_podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, and we really hope you did, we'd be much obliged if you could leave us a review on iTunes or Facebook, as it's a massive help in reaching new audiences. And as mentioned at the top of the show, we're also on Patreon. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/The Infinite Escape Room, where you can listen to episodes a week early, have your name mentioned on the show, get unedited episodes, and more. We love you lots, and we hope to see you next time in another Infinite Escape Room. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 So I wasn't sure if we needed to say
Awesome.
bye there.